It's time for another book talk video. Happy Friday. For this Fiction Friday, we're going to look at 2020's best book in the fiction category. The winner, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This book received more votes than any other book on Goodreads.com, though it was a close one. It was a close, almost tie with Frederick Bachman's Anxious People that came in second place by just a few votes. I decided for my January TBR that I was going to read a bunch of these books that won in their categories or some of the finalists. I rated the book 3 out of 5 stars. I did not think it was the best fiction of 2020. In fact, it should fall under a sci-fi or fantasy kind of category, really, not the general literary fiction category, in my opinion. I can understand why people put it there, but basically this book is a retelling in a modern setting of It's a Wonderful Life. You're definitely dealing with suicide. There is a trigger warning there that if you do not like books about suicide or dealing with characters who really are suicidal and trying to kill themselves, then you probably don't want to read this book, because that's how the book starts out. The main character is so depressed, feeling so lonely and isolated, that she tries to commit suicide, and she ends up in this dream world that is a sci-fi fantasy sort of concept of a library that has an infinite amount of books with alternate realities of her life, where if she had made a different choice with a decision in life, then she could live a different life. And so the book is about her experiencing these different versions of her life as she realizes the regrets that she had, and she tries to deal with those regrets. I personally did not enjoy the book until about page 142, and it's about 300 pages long. So that is about half the book that I just went ahead and forced myself to go through, because I personally do not enjoy books about suicide and suicidal characters, though I definitely understood the parallel with It's a Wonderful Life and where the story was going, and to me it's got a predictable element, of course, with that kind of story. There was tension built up by the author of the character could die in the real world, or she could die in one of these imaginary realities, and that could go ahead and end her existence. But I mean, you know, with the concept and the way this kind of book is set up, that she's gonna survive until the end. It's not really spoilers to say the idea behind It's a Wonderful Life or A Christmas Carol kind of story is that this person realizes that he or she wants to not only live, but live a better life and be nicer to people and be more social and be more engaged in activities. What is interesting, though, is it is ultimately not presented as just a dream. So the author does really stick to the concept that this place exists. The reason that I said around page 142 the book got more interesting to me was because that's the point at which the author provides a twist. It might have been around page 140. I'm working off memory here. But there's a twist that makes you realize, oh, this isn't just a dream reality. This is a real reality. She's really living kind of a quantum leap concept in which she's jumping into the lives of these people in the alternate realities. And I thought the twist element was actually really good, but unfortunately the author didn't go anywhere with the twist element. I mean, you could say that twist concept and what she learned from it provided her with more insight, which allowed her to realize that she enjoyed her life more, but ultimately I felt like it could have been a much more interesting story if that twist element would have been pursued more, and she would have been able to do more with that, especially if it came back around at the end and that variable became a part of her real life at the end of the story. It is very much like It's a Wonderful Life. At the end, I gave the book 3 out of 5 stars because it's predictable. I didn't feel like there was a need for a retelling of It's a Wonderful Life in a modern setting, personally, though I can understand that people who really enjoyed that film and that concept, which is considered a wonderful story, that they might also enjoy this story, and that's why it would be put with literary fiction. It was written well. You know, I don't have any complaints about the writing. Some people might get annoyed with it in the same sense that they get annoyed with Groundhog Day kind of stories, even though it's not literally the same scene being repeated over and over again. You are having her jump into people's lives over and over again, and you might get annoyed with that as a story. It gets 3 out of 5 stars because I would still recommend it, but I'm not going to put it up there as a 4-star or 5-star read. That's it for my book book talk today. Every day is a good day for a book talk. Peace.